Hi, I'm Sam, and I'm here with Jeeda for Bits. Today we're talking about one of the most misunderstood jobs in cybersecurity. Most people have no idea what SOC analysts actually do all day, and that gap in understanding has real consequences. So, Jeeda, let's start with the career path because I think most people don't realize that SOC work is tiered. How long does it typically take to move from Tier 1 to Tier 2, and what kind of experience or skills are actually required to make that jump?
Hi Sam, hi everyone. So it usually takes anywhere between 1 and 3 years, but it really depends on the organization and the exposure you're getting. But moving from tier one to tier two isn't just technical, it's a shift in mindset. So as a tier one, you're usually responsible for triage and following certain playbooks. But to move up, you need to take context into consideration and start correlating those events. And you're going to need to be able to handle those escalations independently and understand attackers' techniques and behaviors.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So that's the daily grind, but then there's the moment when something actually happens. Without naming names, can you tell us about the most interesting incident you've investigated?
Well, the ones that actually catch my attention and honestly worry me the most are the ones involving vendors, because vendors already have trusted access. So there was this one incident we investigated where a vendor's account was compromised, and the attacker basically used that account to send out malicious emails containing malware to the users. And that malware basically bypassed Windows security controls, some network controls, which allowed them to move laterally through the network. But the dangerous part here wasn't just the malware itself, but the fact that people were willing to open and engage with those emails because they already knew and trusted the sender, which made it almost successful. So it really reminds you that attacks aren't just technical, they're also human.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So, on a side note, I've heard from other SOC analysts that sometimes in the middle of doing more repetitive work, you'll suddenly have these epiphanies where patterns click together or you notice something that nobody else saw. Does this happen to you?
Yeah, it happens all the time where an analyst would reach out and be like, hey, I don't know what exactly it is yet, but something seems off. And the reason behind that is because we spend so much time learning our environments, the alerts, and our clients. So when something slightly shifts, like a user's behavior or a process that's run differently or a shift in the traffic patterns, it really stands out. So it's not always about that one big red flag. Sometimes those inconsistencies just add up.
You really have to trust your gut. So, you're dealing with this constant flood of alerts, and then when something real happens, the pressure spikes immediately. That brings me to something I've been curious about. How has AI and automation changed your job? Is it actually helping or is it adding more noise?
I personally love AI and automation, and it definitely helped shift the focus of SOC teams from those daily mundane tasks into actual development and strengthening the security posture. But one thing we need to always understand is that three things are taken into consideration when you're in SOC. So there's the behavior itself, and then there is time, and there is context. AI is really good at analyzing and looking at the behavior, but AI doesn't understand time or context. So AI is definitely powerful, but it could support analysts and not replace their thinking.
So you definitely still need the human touch. Okay, one last question. Burnout is huge in SOC work. Between the alert fatigue, the shift work, and the pressure, what skill outside of pure technical knowledge do you think actually makes someone great at this job and helps them survive it?
I'd say curiosity, 100%. Being curious to know why the alert triggered, how it happened, why it happened, and how it fits into the bigger picture. And another thing is the gear switch, I'd like to call it. And that's basically like something that looks normal in one environment might be highly suspicious in another. And that really all depends on the context. So I'd say curiosity, gear switch, and critical thinking are the keys to be a great SOC analyst.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeeda, and thanks to everyone watching. We'll see you next time on Bits.